Let's talk about them. So the first of two cards will be headlined by Charlo taking on Sergey Derevyanchenko. This will be at 160 pounds for Charlo's WBC middleweight title. Now, before we get to the actual matchup itself, I'm one of these guys, I'm the boxing head who's been like, you know what? Okay, Derevyanchenko gave Jacobs a good fight, but I thought Jacobs won. I thought Derevyanchenko beat Triple G, and certainly at age 34 against Charlo, this could be his last run at a title. He's got everything to gain, and time is not on his side.
That's a great point. That window is closing at 34. Derevyanchenko, a native of Ukraine, has an extensive amateur background. They call him the technician, right? But he's not necessarily just a pure boxer in that sense. He gets inside on you. He's got great footwork, and he lets his hands go. The third time will have to be the charm for him. You have to wonder if he can get back to that title level if he cannot win and capture Jermall Charlo's, WBC title. But as you mentioned, Luke, went to the split decision against Daniel Jacobs. Close unanimous decision loss. You could have flipped the coin against Gennady Golovkin, really becoming only the second guy to back Golovkin up, a big power puncher, and hurt him. He is as much a championship fighter without the belt around his waist as we've seen in this division. So for him, it's certainly all or nothing. But on the flip side, for Jermall Charlo, a guy who won a title at 154 pounds, moved up to 160, maybe wasn't able to get the really big names due to, as we've seen at times, boxing's politics, if you will, across the street, all those languages we like to use. This is his opportunity at really backing up everything he said, that he's the best middleweight, that his combination of speed, power, athleticism, explosiveness is on that level with the Jacobses, the Canelos, and have you, although a couple of those guys obviously have moved up in weight. This is that test. When Sergey Derevyanchenko gets inside of him, we're going to find out what Jermall Charlo is made of. And this could headline the card all on itself, right, Luke, but this is just one half of it.
I can't believe it's actually the first of two cards that we're going to see here. But okay, very quickly, toughest fight of Jermall Charlo's career?
Absolutely, without question, and he has looked sensational at 160 pounds. But this is the first time he's getting somebody in there with him, and the betting odds, it's very close, right? It has somebody who you're like, that's a guy with the experience, the toughness, the ability to box and brawl, all the things that he can bring to the table. We're going to find out if everything on Jermall Charlo is for real.
You know, let's talk about your career, because you look back, second fastest man to become a 4-division world champion in boxing. When you look back on your career, AB, what is the highlight? What was the signature of Adrian Broner's career thus far?
Man, honestly, man, things was going so fast. It seemed like it was yesterday. I was just a little fighter, and then the next day I was just the biggest boxer in the world. So, you know, it was just moving so fast, man. But still to this day, the fight I had the most fun in, and you know, was the Maidana fight.
Really?
I loved it. I loved it.
Why?
I loved every bit about it because I really fought. You know, he was about to quit too. He was about to quit, and a lot of fighters would have quit in my position, in the position that I was in, and how hurt I was. But the way when I looked at it, I was like, I fought the shit out of him. I see why he retired. And, you know, that's one of my best fights I ever had, I think.
Wow. How did that loss change you as a fighter? Because it was the first time. It was the first time you had taken a loss. Is the first time you had ever been down. How did it change you as a fighter?
It made me a little bit more cautious in the ring. It made me a little less reckless, and more patient. I see when I fought him, I was thinking, I was just thinking with my heart instead of being smart and thinking with my brain. You know, I could have made it easy. I got all the ability in the world to make it easy, but I was just fighting with my heart.
The heavyweight picture just feels like it's forever changing. And I'm not just talking about like COVID, I'm talking about the politics of it all and stuff like that. Where do you see it going? Do you see Joshua fighting Pulev and Fury fighting Wilder in the third fight and those two clashing next year? Or do you see things going a slightly different route?
It's boxing. Anything can happen. I do think Joshua fights Pulev next. I'm not sure that the Fury Wilder 3 fight happens. I hope, and I do think that if AJ comes through the Pulev fight, okay, that I think it's unavoidable. It's such a big fight, and although it deserves a huge crowd of maybe 100,000, it's equally as a bigger fight if there's no crowd there. And Tyson Fury against AJ is the top of the tree, and I do think it will happen. I do.
Who do you favour at this point in time?
At this point in time, I'd favour...
Yeah, as we speak now, obviously things can, like you just said, things can change. You don't know if they do fight, one more fight in between. You don't know what might happen. But at this point in time, where would you be putting your £10?
And it's funny you say that, because prior to the second Wilder fight, I was edging towards AJ. Because of the second Wilder fight, I edged towards Fury.
Okay, that's interesting. Gary, I don't know if we've sort of discussed this, have we? I don't want to go over old ground, but do you agree with Adam's assessment there?
Going into the second fight, I was AJ. I just thought he would just have a little bit too much firepower once he got Fury on the back foot. But Fury's just shown us that he can win now in so many ways. And he's shown us at a really good weight, which really suits him, which I think could unbalance AJ somewhat. I mean, for AJ to win this fight, the number one thing he needs in the book is a good jab. And the jab, as I said before, not necessarily to the head, because of Fury's wonderful upper body movement. He's got to put that jab on the shoulder. He's got to distract him with the jab to the chest and then sort of bring his jaw into play that way. He's got to offset. He's got to annoy Fury with his jab, because I don't think him just trying to unload with combos from a distance is going to get anywhere near Fury. Fury's already shown us that he's good at nullifying firepower. So right now, I'd have to edge towards Fury, yeah.